Alright, it's a new day, and spent the last 20 minutes or so just kind of cleaning up, putting junk away. Not that it looks it, but I did. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to go do next. And as you can see, it's just kind of, the wheel's just sitting on there. I was just staring at it last night, trying to get some kind of color ideas. You know, I was thinking about blacking out the inner parts of the wheels, or paint them red, or something like that. And so I set the seats on it, and do like the blackness of the wrought iron kind of look. I had done this before, and that's what I was going for, and I don't think I want to deviate from that. Again, those are in a fireplace, the andirons. Well, that would be the legs off of it, and these were the and then they're for the forward controls too. And then this lower section here is the upright. You set the logs on. So I'm thinking probably put the, I'll paint all this when I get the front tore apart and figure out what I want to do. It's just, I hit it with a wire wheel, that's why it looks like crap right now. Do the rack. No reason why I can't put that on, and I got to get some kind of foam for the bottom of it. That's what I did last time, like a self-stick foam, and poke the holes through it, and then we'll stretch my arms out real far, and we'll get the bolts in for that. I'll bring you back when that's on. Alright, on today's agenda is wheelie bars. As I said, the front end of that bike is really light, and it gets a little squirrely at times if you try taking off and you get overzealous, and I think I almost rubbed the cage or the tailpipes at one time, so you can imagine how straight up and down that was. So that's a quickie little mock-up with vice grips and a piece of rod of where the wheelie bar should probably be. And with that, when I set that up, what I did is I took my stool, and that's probably 14 inches tall, something like that, and I set that on the front tire on that, and figured that would be the height of a wheelie. I would want to pull any higher than that, you start damaging the front end, so that's what I'm going with. So this is just a little start of that. So I got to make up a bunch of I probably want to make it so it's collapsible or removable, so I bought a bunch of clevis pins, and I got some pipe that one slides into the other, etc., etc. So instead of me trying to explain it all, I'm just going to start making stuff, and I'll come back and I'll show you as I get along, and show you what we get. And today I got a little helper too. Lily, what you doing? You gonna help me out today? Yeah, you're just gonna wait for Mama, aren't you? Alright, and I also bought myself a little present, because you know, a bunch of metal work coming up shortly. That is the stand. Lily, come. Good girl. That's the stand for the shrinker stretcher, and it was cheaper than I could make it for, so that's the way we went about getting that guy. Gotta love those 25% off coupons. You gonna help me? Are you? Say hi. Hello. Alright, we got a little doggy bed set up for her, and we're gonna get to work. So Lily made a deal with me. She said, you want me to be shop dog? The only request I have is every time you sit down, you gotta pet me in the head, and it'll be your shop dog, right? You agree? Alright. So this is what we got going on. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do for a setup, and this is the rear cage. That's down here, it's attached to the engine and transmission. Then up top is a big loop that goes around and ties to the top of the shock towers. So I figure I'd go with making the bottom link first, and they're gonna have pivot points. That's what you see there, a couple of pivot points. And then the top, I figure, will be just a fixed to the top. I'll weld all this up solid, and I'll come right down here and weld straight out of this, and then I'll make a pivot on the top also, and then in the center here I figure one pipe will slide into the other one, and I could pull a pin. I could change its height. If I want to use it for travel mode, I can just kind of shift it up and shorten them up so they're way up out of the way, or if I'm going to be playing around and want them for use, I can bring them back down and put the pin back in. I figure I'd go with a bolt here and a bolt here, and then like a quick release, like a clevis pin for the center. So these will get a couple of 3/8 bolts, and I still have to make out of I think I have 3/16 wall. I will have to make gussets for each side that gets welded to that lower part of the cage. And what I'm talking about is like right in this area. I know it's dark, so I got to put a gusset on each side of that, and then again another one will be up here for the other rod coming down. So I'm going to get on that part of it, and I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so I'm starting to get into it. I got my mounts made up. That's 3/16 bar. It was that bar right there. I just started cutting sections out of that. And there'll be my gussets or my mounts for the lower link here, and somewhere on the bottom of the rear cage that will get welded on. It depends on where the wheel ends up when I put it together, and so I'll weld that side on, and the other end's going to go on to this strut going up and down, which I still have to make. And I'm thinking this wheel welded solid to this pipe, and I'll weld all this solid. So I'll weld this to this solid, this rotating mass here to this solid, and we'll just lock that up like a big solid piece. And when I put the lower mount on, I'll leave some space, probably about that much, so that I can come back with a Sawzall, because who knows how this wheel's going to hold up. It's a hospital wheel from a hospital bed, so it's fairly good quality, but you know, it's stopped my car from flipping over. So a bike, if I find something better, or if it's fine, I'll leave it alone. If not, I just want to have the capacity to come back, just slice it off and get rid of it, and go with a different wheel. So that's what I'm going to do. The only thing that sucks about making stuff in the wintertime, your options of what you got is what's readily available. It's not like, well, I can go yard sale and keep a lookout for this or that, you know. You don't have that. So the top strut's going to get made now, and that one's going to be made for like a collapsible, so that you're in the mode where if you use the wheelie bar, you know, the front end lifts up about 10 inches or so and will hit. And then if you don't want them, or if I'm traveling with the bike, say if I have the bike, you know, being towed behind by the front wheel, I could pull a pin. One will go into the other, and I'll drill another hole so that they go in like a transport mode, or we'll call it real high wheelie mode. And that's gonna get what I'm gonna get started on now. And what I have for that is this is yeah, it's roughly 3/4, and it fits decent inside this thick wall pipe, which is actually what I made that stuff out of too. So one fits in the other really good. I don't know if it's gonna do on the dirty. There we go. It's got a little bit of slop, but that's okay. Yeah, you don't want everything totally dead nuts. You know, it's gonna have a little bit of room as long as it doesn't rattle. So this rod is probably gonna be about, I don't know, about that long overall. And then it's going to be made up of these two pieces, so one has to have the capacity to slide in the other one, then pin it, and it slides out, and you can pin it again. So that is what's on the table next. Yeah, that's this stuff. Cut chunks of it out and stuck it in a lathe and made a 3/8 hole in it. The same with the plates, so everything's got that's a stainless bolt. And on cue, the phone rings. So I'll get back with you in a second on that, and we'll take it from there. Alright, just got done cleaning them up. Those will be the upper half. The only thing I have to make now is the gussets of the clevets that's hanging off. Probably just do 4 more of the exact same thing. And again, set up for 3/8. And we'll just weld that to wherever it needs to be on top of the frame. I left them a little on the long side, and I figure if I need to, I can cut them down again a little. Well, you better be a little too long than too short, you know? Don't you know? Alright, so I can get those brackets knocked out, and we'll get them ready to mock up on the bike and see what it looks like. Yeah, so I'm able to draw them out on the bench here, so I'm trying to just visualize what the extended look would be, and then when it's contracted, how much of a difference I'm getting. So my thought is, I should probably just, I gotta set up a light pack here before I do anything. Set the whole bug down on the floor, put the front wheel up where it goes. I'm trying to get to right there, that's where I kind of like it, but I'm going to set the buggy up just like it's supposed to be and put the actual wheel there, and probably be able to get a better visual of what's going on, and then, you know, where I like it set up. So I'm going to get on that, then probably mark it, and I got to come back and grind a couple of places off so that where the brackets are going to get welded, but I want to get an idea where they're going to be before I start sanding the whole damn thing, you know. Alright, I'll be back in a minute. Alright, we're flat on the ground in the front, kind of, sort of, and this is the setup. That's the mark right there. I took the tape off where that's the exact same height where it will be in the air at just cruising around. I could pin it wherever I want. Yes, that's stored up, so that's another 8 inches, I'd say, up. And if I cut this down a little bit more, I can make it retract even further, but I don't think that's going to be necessary. That looks like that's higher than the cage, so the cage is going to hit before the wheels do. And that looks like it make a pretty good bumper too. You know, you pass the tailpipes by, I don't know, a couple of inches, because there's nothing back here to your smush fiberglass, you know. I think that'll work out okay. We're going to tack those brackets up now and get the other one all set up, and I'll set the other one up next to it and kind of, you know, take tape measure and go down and try to get them all kind of squared up and whatnot. So just more of the same. Yes, I got both of them on there now. Looking pretty beefy, I would say. Other than the wheels, but that might be deceiving. We'll see how it works. We'll get to try it. So I'm probably gonna push them both up now. Probably run that jack all the way up, and so that they're all the way closed. It'll keep them probably the most square, you know. And then I'll go and I'll tack the other brackets the other side. Right now only one side is tacked on each one, so I'll get that, make sure it's all square, and I'll kind of run a tape measure around it like I was talking about. I think I'm repeating myself. And then worst case scenario, if they're not rigid enough from side to side, I'll make a cross, an adjustable cross with like a con rod in the middle of each one, a turnbuckle. I could tweak them a little bit, you know. But that's getting ahead of me. Let me get this tacked up, and then I could unbolt them and re-weld the whole assemblies. Alright, so I just kind of fast forward and got them all welded up, ground down, cleaned up, and installed. The only thing that's not done is I gotta weld the casters, so they can still rotate on the bottom. But it's got it. They're pretty strong too. I should be able to pick the at some point I'll probably pick the front end right up on them, and I'll see how they do. The only thing is I don't I got a drill for the pin where it's going to stay as the down position, and then, you know, all the way up. They're a little bit just about flush with the bottom of the exhaust, so they're well out of the way. Make good bumpers too. And right there is roughly where they when it's up on the stool, the front tire, that's about where they are. The one closest to you is the other one I moved. Let you get the idea. So I'm probably going to just leave those as is for now, and I will probably just lift them up and tighten the bolts up for to hold them in place. And I don't know. I know I have to get on the front end, but I'm delaying it. Yeah, when I don't have all the pieces in my head, I kind of like to mull over stuff and think about it a little bit before I jump into it. So while I'm have some questions, I just keep tackling other things, and sometimes it comes to me. Somebody was asking about the hinges. Yeah, they're on the. When I bought this, the shell had some other issues to it. So on the back side of this, there is a steel plate. It goes up, across, and down on both sides, and it sandwiches the fiberglass. This was on the inside and it was washers on the outside, and all this was getting ready to break away. So I had to support it, and unfortunately to do that I had to do it like a sandwich. So I need metal on both sides to do that. But I may cover these. At first I thought about painting you know, black on the bottom and then red on top. But this is one extra bolt hole that kind of bolts the assembly together when it's in a down position, but when you do that you can't flip it up with this bolt in it. So I may use that one bolt for something that covers it, some kind of decorative piece that covers it on both sides. Little bumperettes or something, you know, so you don't see them. Alright guys, I think that might be enough on this video too, so I'm probably going to shut you down here. And I don't know, I could probably start working on the front end on the bench and try getting the tire to fit the axle assembly. And whoever's involved in that, I know the wheel's locked up right now. You can't turn the brake drum or anything, so who knows what I'm going to find when I get into that. But that'll be on its own mission. But got something else done. That's good. As long as you just keep picking away, eventually it all gets done. And so I'm going to leave, going back to what I was saying, I'm going to leave that alone because when I go to put the front end on, I think it's an inch or two difference. I kind of want to see where the bike ends up sitting before I drill and pin these for their final location. So sometimes you can jump around a little bit. That should be next. Alright guys, take care. Bye.